Hello, I am Couch Cooper and we are looking at Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, a game I paid 50 quid for about 18 months ago. It's now free on the PlayStation Network, not technically free, it's the base set of free games that you get on the minimal subscription. Obviously there's tiers in this direction. Want to see everything Couch Co-op and Splitscreen in the PlayStation Plus roster? Link in description, annotation in the corner. Let's crack on. As you can see, I'm absolutely amazing at this game. It goes back to one of my earliest Couch Co-op memories, and it was one of the best Couch Co-op games available on the PlayStation 2, possibly 3 as well. It's got the most deep PvP mode. Technically there's a bit of co-op in here if you want there to be, but it's all about head-to-head with your mate on score challenges, going out as famous skaters from the 90s and 2000s, listening to some of the coolest music from that era and getting to see all of these skate parks completely revamped. Just want to cover the single player campaign mode unlocks skate parks as you play through, but when you go on to local co-op, bang, all there. God, that's important. That could have really stunted this game. It's pick up and play, all the parks are available straight away and all game modes available. There's also a cool little build your own skater feature, which I like, adds a bit of personalization to the setup. You don't always want to be playing as Tony Hawk's. And for me it's revamped, because when I first got this physical it was only PlayStation 4. We're now looking at an enhanced PlayStation 5 edition of the game. Now it's 1080 but it is a pegged 60. It kind of looks pretty damn epic. This is what the split screen looks like running on the PlayStation 4 Pro. This is original footage from when I purchased the game last year, physical, and you can see that it's choppy as hell on the frame rates and the distance. The game looks great single player, but it did stagger a bit under the weight when you split that screen. The 5 version is going at 1080 with the screen split, but I think we've got 60 frames. It is kind of a beast when it comes to its performance, and it's got some very deep HDR implementation, which gives the game an even fresher look on that PlayStation 5. Just as a tip, one of the coolest things, getting hit by that bus, one of the coolest things is just the free mode with 2 of you to sort of feel around the maps, because there's so many. You've got access to all of them in 1 and 2. You need to find sort of sweet spots, work out your route before you start going versus on a score attack. That's the crux of this whole game, is scoring against your opponent in a set time. So there's no mucking around. You can't explore, you can't even make a mistake, because you're going against somebody who's got a similar idea, and it's brilliant to be watching over the other screen. You can sometimes muck someone's move up. There's a bit of controversy about that. There's certain rules that we laid down which means you don't smash into somebody while they're producing a game winning grind. Well, not deliberately anyway. It's just dawned on me that you may have never gone near this series ever. The whole thing might have happened before you got into gaming, and you might be looking at this thinking it's a skateboard game. Nothing is further from what I desire in video gaming, but this is so much more than a skateboard game. It borrows the skateboard aesthetic, but underneath it's a really technical PvP game. It's got more in common with Sunset Overdrive than it has with maybe something like SS Tricky. It's perfect for 2 people, and I would have loved to see a 4-player split on the PlayStation 5. That would be so epic. Back to its appeal, it's got this system where if you keep doing good, you're kind of rewarded and everything starts snowballing, but it can all be thrown away. What I'm talking about is your score is held until you finish off your moves. There's so much risk in being flash and then losing it all, and the other person seeing that as a window of opportunity to start performing and pull ahead. You get constantly told when the other person is ahead of you, which forces you into more dangerous moves, which can then result in you just crashing all the time, getting super angry, grabbing the other player's controller. We've all been there. Its moveset, as you can tell, is all about chaining things up, and you'll see this little balance minigame come in, and that's when you're trying to hold a grind or even do a manual. And what happens at the end of the time of the event, if you're halfway through a move, if you're doing this balancing act, you'll be still in until said move is finished. So the tension when someone's still going, when that clock's finished, and watching them bugger over at the end and lose all the points, gaming doesn't get much better. I wanted to double check for any performance modes in the options. I was thinking maybe we might get a 4K 30 frame per second option that might spill on to the 2-player. Unfortunately nothing, which I'm a little bit miffed on. We just see a lovely gloss over of frame rate and resolution for the PlayStation 5 version of this game, and it's at no extra cost, which is pretty damn cool. If you've got a base game like I have and the update kicks in, everybody's happy. I made the fatal, near-on unforgivable error of not putting this in my top PvP PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 games. Hand on heart, this would have been in the top 2. This is absolutely stellar for what you're looking for when it comes to nostalgia with the Hawk series, a really cool PvP, and some PlayStation 5 implementation on a split screen that's genuinely noticeable. Think like Borderlands 3, how cool that looked when you first saw it split screen on the 5. This is kind of up there. Other games in this category include Super Override Mech Time, which is a game that also featured heavily on that PvP list, and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is another great PlayStation 5 boosted true split screen game. Links in description. I have been Couch Coop. I will see you then.